That's not a knife. This is a knife. Well, they're actually both knives. But this is a Ayagami Super petty knife, clad in stainless, super sharp carbon steel. This is a SG2 Miyabi Santoko. But what does any man with knives want? More knives. It's not always easy to find the knives you're after. Out of stock, supply, so many different steels to choose from. That is why I got this. This is a piece of 80 CRV2 steel, which is a carbon steel, kind of very good for learning to make knives. We are going to try and turn this into something like this. Like any project, we got to start with inspiration. So Pinterest is perfect for gathering some images of some knives that I really like. And you'll see a bit of a common trend. I really like this crisp bevel. I think this is a really good example. The hamon is like popping. The steel is like satin, crisp bevel. It just looks so good to me. There's a few different things. I've got some handles, some of this neck geometry, but just kind of exploring and researching what's out there, what I like the look of, what's the common trends, and almost just training the eye to a degree of what I think looks good. This cutting profile here is really beautiful. The little logo, amazing. So just starting the process by putting some pen on paper. It's really just a bit of an exploration at this point, just trying to find out a bit of the aesthetic feel of the knife, a few things that are in my head that I want to put down and try. Figuring out what I like and don't like at this point. The curve of the knife edge is actually really unnatural to sketch. It's kind of the inverse of the natural curve of a right-hander, but it doesn't really matter. I can already tell that the knife point, the tip of the knife, is going to be a challenge. It's something that's not feeling quite right on most of them, but this is a very quick way to figure out what I like and don't like. These sharper points I feel like don't suit the larger knife. The larger the knife, it almost feels like it should be more of a acute tip. So at this point I'm getting a bit of a feel for the kind of tips that I like, the shapes that I like. I've exhausted a few options. I'm just going to basically explore until I feel like I've got a good idea in my head of where I want to go. I'll look at the handle quickly, but I don't think I'll get much through sketching the handle. The handle, to me, in my head, feels more like a 3D. It's something that we're going to get more out of looking at it in the CAD or the 3D. It's really just that profile and the taper and the weight at this point that I'll get from sketching. Nonetheless, though, the way it interacts with the neck of the knife is important, so I think it is definitely worth sketching still. Okay, this is the sketch of the profile that I'm going with. Anyone that wants to download this, all the files for this project will be available free for download. It was a little bit of a challenge to figure out this cutting edge. I feel like this can't be straight, this cutting area on the belly. If it is straight, it just looks visually almost like a concave. The eye needs to see a very subtle radius there. And then it meets this other tighter rad to give it the taper to the tip. It's extremely subtle, but this was the most challenging part. It's also the part that's most important for my jig to get right, but I think we're at a place where this is pretty nice. The tip was also a challenge. I kept trying to radius off that corner. Even in the sketches and the CAD, I just wanted to put a fillet on there, but I just think that the corner there has this aesthetic look that I just love, and I'm going to keep. This neck base profile, I kind of came back to it a few times. I kept it a tight radius because that bevel that goes across the blade, I don't think it can be above the tangent of this radius. I think it needs to be kind of at the start of it. And the handle, it's just got this little kickback to match the handle geometry that's kind of tapering down, which I'll go into now. But this is the 3D model. I mean, it's very simple. It's just a knife, right? Double bevel. Handle just straight along the top have this tapered belly to it. Nothing set in stone, but I think it's a pretty nice looking knife. I think now I can take it into the render software, throw some materials on, just get a bit of a vibe of how it's going to look when it's done. Of course, we don't need to do this, but this is fun to do this. Okay, I brought this into my rendering software and just throw it on some quick materials. Made a little burl for the handle and a brush steel, like a very light brush. I don't like that look. I've even added a little hamon, which the hamon comes from back when they used to make Japanese swords. It's an area that they selectively harden using clay as like an insulator for the back of it. So as it converts to pearlite, like a harder steel, you get this visible line of different color. I just think it looks totally awesome. So if I can do that on my knives, I would love to. Here we go. We'll just put some live renders on. What you doing? Okay, let's try that again. Oh my god. What the reason I wanted this double bevel is I just think when the light catches the bevel just right, and it's just about, where is it? Come on. You know, it's just kind of this spot where, or is it the, you know, one or the other, like this. Like, look how just good when the light catches the bevel. I just think it's so sick, and you can see the little hamon coming through there. While I'm talking, I'll just hit a full render. It's just part of the aesthetics of the Japanese knives that I think is why I'm so drawn to it over some of the Western options. Alright, I stopped it there. I mean, yeah, I'm really liking how this could potentially come out. That ultra crispy bevel is just so, I mean, this is a render, it's unrealistic, but I'm really excited. I don't think anyone can tell me that's not a sexy knife. That's a cool looking knife. If anyone wants to see more of the rendering side of things, I am completely open to going through how I get some of these materials and the lighting and renders. This was really quick to put together. I think I put the scene and the material together in like, 15 minutes or so, and produce the render. It renders out pretty good in about 60 seconds. So I'm really happy with this. This is almost ready for the next step, which will be starting the production. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching to the end of the video. In the next video, we're going to be looking at this, which is the jig I've designed to make those crispy bevels that I'd like to get. So if you liked the process so far and you want to download any of the models, the only thing I ask is if you like the video and if you subscribe, if you'd like to see the further ones coming. Otherwise, we will continue with this in the next on the design and the manufacture of this grinding jig.